ACT therapy changed my life. And one of the key components of ACT therapy is experiential avoidance. So I'm going to talk about it. So today I'm reading straight from my notes. So bear with me as I look at my notes and get straight to it. So experiential avoidance is a psychological concept that describes the tendency to avoid or escape from unpleasant internal experiences such as thoughts, feelings, memories, bodily sensations, or urges, or even when doing so causes long-term harm. So that is something that we really don't want to do. And here are some key points of experiential avoidance. The nature of avoidance is not just about avoiding external situations, but specifically about resisting or pushing away what happens inside, like anxiety, sadness, or painful experiences. What you really want to think about is the short term versus the long term cost. When you avoid, it can bring immediate relief, but over time, it makes the problem worse, keeping people stuck in a cycle of suffering. For example, if you're someone who avoids social situations because it causes anxiety, you might eventually become isolated in the long term, even though in the short term, you are relieving that experience of anxiety by just avoiding people altogether. But in the long time, that costs you relationships. And how does this relate to ACT therapy? Because this is all part of ACT therapy. So ACT therapy is acceptance and commitment therapy. And experiential avoidance is seen as a central process that limits psychological flexibility. Remember, the goal always is to have psychological flexibility. That way we're able to bounce and move when things come to us and we're not just stuck in one pattern. You know what I mean? Instead of avoiding, ACT therapy encourages people to accept difficult experiences while still moving towards your values. So you want to be the person that you want to be no matter what is going on in your outside world. That is part of ACT therapy. So here are some examples of experiential avoidance: drinking to numb sadness, distancing yourself with endless doom scrolling just to avoid loneliness, refusing to talk about painful memories or experiences, avoiding medical checkups because you're scared to hear the results. These are things that temporarily you get relief, but in the long term can cause lots of problems. When it comes to experiential avoidance, you want to learn to practice acceptance, extreme acceptance, which means actively contacting psychological experiences directly, fully, and without needless defense while behaving in an effective manner. That is how you deal with things such as anxiety, sadness, difficult experiences. You want to face them head on, but you want to choose to align with your values, not short term relief, but what will help you in the long term. And in the long term, being psychologically flexible is very beneficial. So I hope that this was, I know it's a lot of technical terms and things like that, but this concept is so important. I literally love ACT therapy so much. So I just want to bring that to the forefront. So let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to expound on any of these topics. I could do that. Just I hope you found this very helpful because I know I have. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.